Love it or hate it, it's coming out this year. So let's talk about it. I want to talk about a few things in this video because I just think it's so funny that we're finally here in the month when this Snow White video, this Snow White film is going to be coming out. Oh my God, we've been on a journey. You guys don't know, I will link it in the description bar below. I have talked about this Rachel Zegler Snow White drama in quite a few videos. After many delays and many people just hating the fact that this is even happening, we finally have a date on when this film is coming out. And my question is, why are we here? Just trying to understand, trying to get through. Let's start off with me saying that I remember when YouTube privated the dislike button. Now, a lot of us were very confused on that. Like, we didn't understand if you're going to keep the like button, it does make sense naturally to keep the dislike. It's just good to be able to see that when you're watching a video, because you could understand for the most part when you're watching those types of videos what people are liking and why people don't like certain things. And it's like almost immediately after they privated the dislike button, we immediately found out why. And that's when I was introduced to the YouTube Rewind video that came out, I want to say 2 or 3 years ago. Because not also did they add in with that Rewind YouTubers that people really honestly have never heard of, especially in America, but they started to include celebrities. Now, for people that are not familiar with the YouTube Rewind, they were doing that pretty annually. And that was basically showcasing YouTubers that basically were on like the road to success. Like, they started off maybe like with their cell phones and they grew and amassed a huge following, a huge subscriber count, and they wanted to spotlight them. And it was like a really cool thing to aspire to as a YouTuber. You know, one day I could be a part of this video that will showcase me as a rising star on YouTube. And this was like the transition from people caring about celebrities and getting more into influencers. In one of our YouTube Rewind videos, they started including celebrities. And that's when we realized that YouTube Rewind video thing was shit. Included, I want to say, Will Smith. Now I was very confused. I was like, wait, why are there celebrities in this YouTube Rewind video? They have amassed their following and their success from films and TV shows, like the more traditional way of getting success. It was so confusing, and a lot of people didn't like it, but you would never know because that dislike button was privated. Now, granted, when it comes to YouTube, you are able to understand ratios. You know, so if you see a video that has like 10 million views, but then the comments have like 20,000 comments, but the likes have like 5,000 likes on it, you know the rest of those buttons are on the other side. Now let's dive into Disney, because we're going to get to the topic at hand that you see from the thumbnail, because I'm just as confused as everybody else. So Disney, they decided to do a whole thing where they wanted to take a lot of their classic films that came out from the 90s, 70s, 60s, 50s, 30s, and remake them for a modern audience, because kids don't enjoy 2D animation anymore, I guess. For some reason, I don't know why they wouldn't, but I guess they don't. While some of them are successful, we all know that grew up with the animated, we know it's just not it's not the same. It's just not the same. It don't hit the same. The emotions don't hit the same. And yet they still keep making them. Not everything means success if you're making money from it. For some reason, Disney wasn't getting it. We were told that we were going to be getting a live action Snow White. Okay, we're already going down that path. You know, they might as well. Why the fuck not? We were introduced to Rachel Zegler. Now, I'm saying introduced because I had never heard of this child a day in my life up until this point. Yeah, she was in West Side Story, the remake. Listen, go watch the one that came out in like the 50s and the 60s. Way better. But supposedly she was in that. It really wasn't that good of a film. Not also were we introduced to her with this Snow White, but there was something a little different about her. You know, she wasn't like your everyday new actress that was just trying to be liked by people so she can be in projects and have people come out to watch her. No, she was a very opinionated person, and she had a lot to say about the Snow White from the 30s.
I mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that
she's
is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. I was scared of the original cartoon. I think I watched it once and then I never picked it up again. Like, I'm being so serious. I watched it once and then I went on the ride in Disney World, which was called Snow White's Scary Adventures. Doesn't sound like something a little kid would like. Was terrified of it. Never revisited Snow White again. The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Not a lot of people liked it. Not a lot of people liked her opinion. As a matter of fact, it almost sounded like she was shit talking the story. As a matter of fact, as a child who had just turned 21 or 22, I personally don't like it when people think they know a lot about the world, but they never really experienced anything. But that is what we get from good old Rachel Zegler. She had a lot of opinions that really made no sense, despite the backlash that she started to get from her shit talking a character that she's actually going to be portraying in this new live action film. Disney still kept her around. That didn't come without problems. So there's a lot of delays. People were just outraged by the fact that she was so opinionated in a negative way about the character of Snow White. On top of all that, we have actors that think that their opinions matter, and they wanted to change up things, because how are you going to modernize Snow White and have a half Latino actress playing Snow White, but then keep the dwarves as if we haven't progressed? Like, what are you talking about?
Game of Thrones star, who has a form of dwarfism, slammed Disney during an interview on Marc Maron's WTF podcast, saying that while he thinks the studio took one step forward casting the lead, they took two giant steps backward, perpetuating old stereotypes.
The story is called Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Why would you not get dwarfs to play dwarfs? Disney thought, you know what? That's a good idea. Let's change things up. So instead of hiring the dwarf actors, which I'm sure there would be a lot of them lined up wanting this job because it's a job, let's just create them CGI style, because who wants to see real humans? Let's CGI the dwarfs. Let's do that. That makes so much sense. Thank you so much, Peter Dinklage. That's why you stay around. You get famous off of being a dwarf in a lot of films, but when it comes to other people, nope. That's only for Peter Dinklage, and he didn't want that role, so no one can take that role. So we get the delays, and it's been delayed for quite a while. I want to say it's probably been a 2-year delay on this story. It should have been delayed indefinitely, because no one was asking for this. To be honest, no one was asking for any of these remakes to be made from all these classic Disney stories, but we accepted it. Can we at least like the actors that are playing in it? But then they try to do a really quick, rehaul? They try to do a really quick U-haul. I don't know what the word is. They try to change up her personality because a lot of people were hating her. So they put her in some interviews to give her more of a softer edge so people can see that she's a likable person. But bitch, we saw how she generally was in public on camera. We're not convinced. We're not as stupid as people think we are. So it didn't really work. Maybe it worked to a few hundred people, but for the other millions, it didn't work on us. When she realized that no one gave a shit about her opinion when it came to the film, she started going down the rabbit hole of shaming the fans. Like, how dare the fans not like me because I'm mixed? I am a mixed actress playing the character of Snow White, and I don't understand why the fans don't like me. And they're racist. Then the politics started to come in. Because why not already shit on your fans? Let's create a much huger divide between your fans when it comes to politics, because no one gives a shit about me talking about this Snow White story, so let's talk about Trump and Kamala. We were realizing that no matter what Hollywood did, there was no way that they were going to be able to find a redeeming quality with Rachel Zegler. She's just a terrible person. And so after all of that said and done, we get now to the trailer. And we had a few teaser trailers that looked just as terrible as one would assume, but we ended up getting an official trailer. And oh my God, I now understand why YouTube privated the dislike button. There is some sort of browser that you can put on your laptop or computer to be able to see the dislike. A lot of YouTubers that are dedicated to the cause have done that. And oh my God, I have never seen a video get over 1 million dislikes. It is insane how many people just do not want this film to happen. It's crazy because honestly, it does not need to happen. You have a character playing Snow White who's supposed to be the fairest of them all, but the evil queen is more attractive and likable than the princess. Like, how is that fucking possible? They changed up the lore completely. Like, we all know that Snow White is supposed to be Snow White because her skin is white as snow. But in this one, no, her name is Snow White because she was found in the snow.
What the fuck are we doing right now?
Just say you don't give a shit about the story and we'll just move on. I mean, the character of Snow White is based in a certain area of the world, which would make sense for her skin to be, and her life and her look to be the way it is. So changing things up has to make sense. I had this issue when they changed up the Little Mermaid, because you're going to convince me that you're going to have a black mermaid in the water, knowing black people. Like, everybody knows the stereotypes when it comes to black people. Our stereotypes are just through the roof. Everybody knows them, even if you don't know them. But the one thing that people know is that black women don't like getting their hair wet. So I was never convinced with the Little Mermaid. Never was, never will be. It ain't for me. Snow White's known to be Snow White because her skin is white as snow. It ain't got nothing to do with the fucking snow. Like, that shit just annoyed me. It's just like, why change things that aren't broken? Why fix things that aren't broken? And it just pissed me off because they still continued on with the story. And the film is actually going to be coming out in March. I don't really know the date, but it's going to be coming out in March. I'm not watching this shit. I definitely will be watching other people talk about it. But like, if I really wanted to watch the story of Snow White, I'll just watch the one that came out in the 30s because surprisingly, it's actually better. As a matter of fact, any of those live action films that have come out recently that Disney has done, you can literally go back a few 20-30 years and watch the 2D animated stories 110 times better. I don't understand why we just need to destroy every classic story that was great from back in the day. The Snow White film that's going to be coming out is just, I'm just like so upset. But it's funny because so many people are waiting to watch it, to shit talk it, to make a commentary on it, to make a review on it, just to spread the hateful speech of it being terrible. Oh man, the fans are so racist because they're mad that a Spanish actress is playing the character of Snow White. No, people just don't like the story because you hired someone who didn't like the story themselves. She lied on camera. You guys had to, do some sort of reinforcement because she was putting no respect on the name of Snow White. You guys try to have her come off as some sort of innocent chick that was just in love with the story and just lost herself. No, she's a terrible person and she proved herself to be a bitch. And y'all are trying to act like that shit didn't just happen. I hope Disney fails. I hope Snow White fails. I hope you guys don't make any of your money back. And I hope that, honestly, Rachel Zegler doesn't have to be in another film where she destroys an IP ever again. Not everybody deserves happiness. I'm learning that too. Just because you want happiness doesn't mean that you deserve it, because you only deserve what you put the effort into. And so far, Rachel Zegler has tainted the name of things that people just love. So she's reaping the benefits of realizing that no one gives a shit about you just because you're a Hollywood celebrity. People are more engaged with YouTubers than they are with the actors and actresses in Hollywood. The sooner they figure that out in their brains, hopefully soon, I really hope that they do figure it out very soon before it's too late. Maybe it's already too late. I don't know. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell so you're always notified about the new videos that I have coming out. Let me know in the comments below, who's going to watch this film when it comes out? How long do you guys think this film is going to be in the theaters if it hits theaters? I don't see it being in the theaters any longer than a month. Thank God for streaming services, honestly. In those days where you don't want to spend any money and you just want to sit back, relax, and just chill with something to drink, something to eat, you just want to watch something, you can just do it from the comfort of your own home. That's a great thing. Who really is going to go out to watch a terrible film in the theater when you can just watch it from the comfort of your own home and yell as much as you possibly want without having to pay extra money? Just let me know. I'll be very intrigued to read what you guys think. It's also kind of funny too. I think I mentioned this already, but the Seven Dwarf thing. I don't know why that dwarf situation pissed me off the most. Outside of Rachel Zegler shit talking Snow White, if that wasn't enough to make someone upset, the fact that someone who has been successful in Hollywood as a dwarf, playing in other films as a dwarf, now there's a story coming out, other dwarfs can actually play that and have a job. No, we're not progressive enough. You changed the character of Snow White to be Latin, but you still have those dwarfs in that Snow White and dwarf film? What? Like, do you even hear what you're saying right now? You're making absolutely no sense, dwarf man. It was just idiotic. I was just so confused by it. It really annoyed me. Like, you're so progressive, but you still keep the dwarfs in the Snow White and the Seven Dwarf film? That really hurt my soul. I was like, he really said that, and it was confident in that. He was confident in what he just said. He felt that he made sense in what he said, and Hollywood believed him and agreed with them.
Oh yeah, Peter, you're right. We shouldn't have those dwarfs in that Snow White and Seven Dwarfs film. Let's CGI them, because that makes way more sense.
I hate Hollywood. Also, if you guys do not know, I have a podcast, Ali vs. the World, where I talk about life as I'm traveling the US and interacting with people along the way. I also have a Patreon where I vlog my experiences as I travel. And you guys can also see some of my images from my travels and the people that I meet on my Pinterest. All that can be found in the description bar below, so do check it out. I love you all. Snow White's gonna be shit, but we all know that. But I love you all. You guys know I do, though. I really, really do. I do. I hope to see you all in the next video.